Good morning, everyone. Thank you for visiting Lake Elsinore. I'd like to take a moment of silence to honor all those whose lives were cut short defending our nation. Also, let us pause a moment to think about their families and the people who loved and cherished them, who will always carry the burden resulting from their tragic loss. And let us also remember those currently serving in harm's way. Thank you for taking the time to honor our veterans this wonderful day. I want to thank Storm Baseball for hosting another successful Grand Prix event and allocating time to remember all of the people that give us this freedom to enjoy events like these today. I also want to thank CJ Stewart. She has been at the forefront of these events for years and has always been a strong voice for veterans. I want to also start out by saying happy birthday to my fellow Marines. For 238 years, the United States Marine Corps has proudly served our great nation with unfailing valor. So happy birthday, Marines, and Semper Fi. When CJ asked me to speak today, she told me to put on a uniform. I had some reservations about that since I hadn't worn a uniform in about 11 years. Of course, my first concern was, would it fit? So I made that. But the other concern was, how would I feel when I put on this uniform? And you know what? It feels pretty good, just like old times. Now I don't want to take it off. My wife's not going to like that. But you see, this is more than just a uniform, especially for us Marines. It's about honor, it's about courage, and it's about commitment. And that's what we do. And it's not just the Marines. All veterans that put on our nation's uniforms feel this way. That is what makes our nation what it is today. I'd like to take a moment and talk about service. I served for over 22 years, and someone once asked me, what kind of sacrifices did you make during those 22 years? Well, I told him, I didn't make any sacrifices. And he looked at me and said, you had to make some. And I said, no, look at me. I've got my limbs, I've got my health, I have a nice family. So for those of us that are serving, it's not about the sacrifice. Some folks think when you miss a birthday or an anniversary or the birth of a child, it's a sacrifice. Well, folks, for us veterans, this is what we do. We serve. The sacrifice comes when we leave it on the battlefield. And a lot of folks have left it on the battlefield. On this Veterans Day occasion, I also want to take a moment to honor every service member who has ever worn our nation's uniform. Because when our nation has needed them, they have risen to her defense. Generations of veterans have displayed great courage, and some have made the ultimate sacrifice so that our nation can flourish. And today we owe a profound debt of gratitude to the patriots who have fought and died for our country. Today, our brave men and women returning from combat face some difficult challenges. More than one a day, let me say this again, more than one a day. That's how many members of our active duty, military, National Guard, and Reserve forces have committed suicide over the last year. Simply put, we are losing more of our service members by their own hands than by the enemies in Afghanistan. And it's only those of us with firsthand experience can understand the horrors of war and why these young men and women would feel compelled to take such drastic and permanent measures. But those of us gathered here today to observe Veterans Day, we love them and we appreciate them and we are grateful for their service. We are their friends, their families, their co-workers, and their neighbors. And it's up to us to ensure that every veteran feels that his or her country is appreciated by their fellow Americans. There are many ways we can do that, but the most important way is ensuring that they get help when they need help. As our nation begins to bring our folks home from Afghanistan, we have to make sure they're taken care of. But more importantly, we have to make sure that the military has the money, training, and equipment so that the next time they are called to serve, they are ready. So be proud of our veterans and make it your mission to give them the respect and care that they've earned and thank them for their service. And to all veterans and family members who answer the call of duty, thank you for your service and for your sacrifice. God bless you. God bless America.
please bow your